What's up, y'all? Let's get straight into it. I want to make something very clear. Very, very clear. I hope no one thinks that I'm trying to glorify the hood or any of the circumstances that I've witnessed and seen. I'm just dropping these stories from my past as jewels, not as glorification. But please listen to the jewels I'm dropping in these stories. This is something else. Anytime I write about something that's inspired by something I've witnessed or seen in my life, I'm going to break down the real story over here, the confessions of a black author. But make sure you don't take the words in my books literally. Just because I say something is inspired by true events or things I've seen, don't mean that actual event I'm describing in my art is actually what happened. Take, for instance, when it comes to Reporter from Hell, I use my upbringing and my hood, my neighborhood, and environment I grew up in to jumpstart that character. But many of the things in that book did not take place, not directly, vividly, exactly like I write about in the book. This is one we're going to cover now. I've had people ask me, I don't know why, did you really witness somebody ODing and some grave diggers come to pick them up? Hell no. That would make me accessory after the fact. Now, I told you nightmares I had, and part of my military PTSD is related to doing over 200 funerals for funeral detail. And other things I saw as a casualty NCO and other experiences. But no, if I had ever witnessed any type of crime or accessory after the fact or anything like that, I wish the hell I would write about it. Give Brother P.O.E more credit than that. But I do want to give you the true background on why I wrote that and Reporter from Hell about that woman ODing and the grave diggers picking her up. I'm going to come back later to the story I wrote about the woman ODing, but we're going to get on those grave diggers. If you don't know what a grave digger is, let me give you a layman terms definition for it. They're cleanup men. They're not necessarily the ones that murder a person or kill a person. I'm talking about street justice or street shit, basically. But they are the ones that come through and clean up after somebody is murdered or been killed. I'm not talking CSI. I'm not talking the coroner. I'm talking about the streets. You all right over there, buddy? You don't want to get up, but you still snoring. So you gonna stay down here, you got to get up. I'm talking the streets. When I was probably about 14 years old, this is my first incident with seeing real grave diggers. I was about 14 years old and I was on a block with one of my big homies. He was probably like 20 something, good friend of the family. And he's from a serious hood, a real hood. So I'm on the block with him and this old Cadillac rolled by. It had three older gentlemen in there. The windows was tinted, but you could still see it was three people in the car as it was pulling up. And the car honked at my homeboy. He threw the deuces up and smiled. When they rolled by, I was just talking about the car. Y'all know I'm infatuated with cars. Because it was a clean, older Cadillac. I mean, mint condition, factory wheels on it and everything. I was like, man, that's a clean ride right there. And my big homie was like, that car is clean for a reason. He said, you know, when you grave digging, you have to make sure your license legit, your registration is straight. You can't have any flaws if the police get behind you and need to pull you over. And I asked Big Homie, what you mean grave digger? He said, I'm talking about real grave diggers. They clean up bodies after somebody gets murdered. And I left that conversation alone right there. Real spooky. As far as those older gentlemen, I didn't know them personally, anything, but they are dead now. All three of them are dead. Here's another incident where I know about real grave diggers. And some of y'all might be familiar with this because it's probably taking place in your own city or town where you come from. Have you ever heard the wise tale? Don't ever mess with a funeral director. Remember one time I was riding with my OGs at the crib many years ago. This person was dead when this conversation was taking place anyway, the person I'm about to describe. My homeboy, he pointed out a particular funeral home back home. He said, yeah, old man so-and-so back in the day, if you need to get rid of a body, you take it right over there. He'll take the teeth out, grind them up, get rid of that, throw it in the Cumberland. Cumberland's the river where we from, and burn the body up. He said, bruh, don't ever mess with a funeral director. They know how to get rid of you. Nobody see you again. That was another incident. I left that alone. You understand? Even though that old man who allegedly did those things had passed on, I didn't want to know anymore. It also reminds me of this. Think about those three gentlemen riding around that car who was also capable of snatching your life as well. Because we're on the streets, we're not only where they clean you up, they'll do the cleaning up by knocking you off and then get rid of you too. This goes back to something else I want to point out. You never judge a book by its cover. You don't know who you're dealing with. That's why you show everybody respect. You understand? Those who want respect, give respect. You see an old person, an old man, you think they don't have any type of connections or whatnot, you go harass him or try to rob them or even worse, and you can bring down the devil on your head. And you wouldn't even know it. And I've known through my lifetime powerful people that look meek or docile or completely innocent. And they be the plug, or they be an assassin, or they be a millionaire. And once again, I give you these stories to give you the backgrounds that go into these characters I create in these situations. So even though that is fictional, what took place in Reporter from Hell, gravediggers are real. And I've seen them. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. One team.